Hello everyone, it is I, Logan, or Republic Studs, and today we are going to be getting into ranking every single LEGO Star Wars 2021 LEGO Star Wars set. Now both me and my friends Brix Films have been collaborating and working together on putting together the list for the perfect sets, and we spent a long time working on this, and I'm really kind of excited to get into it with you all. And this is going to be including everything from promo sets to official sets, excluding foil packs, and that's all very epic. But before we do, I want to ask you all to check out our new merch that is holiday themed. Since the holidays are obviously coming, we have things like Rexmas, which is an absolutely great little holiday sweater. We have Merry Little Brickmas, which is obviously a great little one with a little Lego Christmas tree. That's all beautiful. And then we also have my personal favorite, Skywalker roasting on an open fire. This one is just the best, and I absolutely love it. I'm also going to ask you all to hit the subscribe button. We are so incredibly close to 25,000 subscribers, just a few short hundred away, so every little sub will be appreciated. We are just so close, and everything, again, is appreciated. With that said, we're going to get right on into it. Now, this year's sets aren't actually that bad, and I'd say the last one is the only actually objectively bad set, and after that, they're just kind of all subpar and then good. But first up, our number 22 is at 75297, the Junior's Resistance X-Wing. Now, this is the only objectively bad set. As you guys know, I hate Junior sets, and aside from me hating Junior sets, this one is just ridiculous. Now, for $20, you get a slightly larger than a Microfighter build, which is not saying much, and obviously even less detail than a Microfighter. You get two figures, one official figure, one like little BB-8 droid, none of which are really exclusive at all, and it's just overpriced. It's not a good set. I do not like it at all. It is the only really objectively awful set from this year. That's all I can really say about it. With that said, let's move into the next one. Next up, we have one of the first sets that came out this year at number 21. This is set 75295, the Millennium Falcon Microfighter. Now, this set is a subpar at best, mainly because we have already gotten two Millennium Falcon Microfighters, but you can't really complain about Microfighters too much, and you'd expect them almost to be lower on this list. And, you know, the figures, the Falcon build's alright. Now, the Han Solo figure is actually only other set is the UCS Cantina, which is actually a pretty good one, and I know it's not UCS, it's Master Builder Series, but still, this is a great way to get Han Solo for cheap, and I think that's really the big message from this set, and, you know, that's okay. It's not a huge deal. My first LEGO Star Wars set, period, was a Microfighter Falcon, so this is obviously a great little one. Now, let's move into number 20. Now, at number 20, we have a set, and this one's probably going to be a bit of a controversial pick, but this is 75302, the Imperial Shuttle. Now, I absolutely despise this set. Now, first off, I'm not a fan of the downsizing of these types of sets. And the other thing is, Imperial shuttles are made to have a big enough interior to store some troopers. They're shuttles. And this set only actually would manage to fit at max 3 minifigures, which is ridiculous. Speaking of minifigures being ridiculous, the minifigures in this set are just awful. You get Vader, and he does not have his arm printing, which has almost thought to become a staple, and it's appeared in every other recent Vader interpretation, except for this set for some reason. And then we also do get a plain, boring Luke Skywalker. Obviously nothing exciting with that. Obviously a very boring figure. And then you also get this, like, pathetic, you know, Imperial pilot. It's just pathetic and small for $70. It feels like not worth it nearly at all. The interior, again, is pathetic at best, and there's no real detail and redeeming qualities about this set, other than it's structurally sound, which is good, but I feel like that's a given for all LEGO sets nowadays. And moving into 19 is a set that was actually thought to be one of the best sets of the year early on, but is now probably one of the worst. This is set 75299, the Trouble on Tatooine set. Now, again, this one was our first, like, real Mandalorian set from The Mandalorian Season 2. And it was cool initially because we obviously got Beskar Mando, one of the coolest minifigures from this year. I'd argue one of, if not the coolest minifigure from this year. Obviously a great little figure with all the arm printing and stuff, and we also got a cheap way to get Grogu, and that is the only real relevance to this set. Right now, you get a cheap way to get the Grogu minifigure, and, you know, obviously the Mandalorian figure shown up in a ton of other sets that are far more worth getting, like the Armorer's Forge and things along those lines. The builds are pathetic. The only actual interesting one, in my opinion, is the Speeder, because it's, like, based off the main thing. You know, the Hut is a kind of crappy build. The Ballista is kind of useless. It's just not a great great build. I'm not a fan. The Tusken obviously is a boring figure selection, and it just kind of feels like a lazy set to a degree, but really all you're paying for is Beskar Mando and Baby Yoda. Now, with that said, let's get into the next one. Now, next up, surprisingly, pretty high up on the list is set 75307, the Advent Calendar. Now, usually people don't rank these Advent Calendars up high, but I wanted to include them, mainly because of the figure selection. Now, with the figures, you obviously get the exclusive Mandalorian and Grogu with the scarf and pajamas. That's obviously an adorable little feature. But the other things you also get figures like the Scout Trooper, which is a pretty rare figure, still going for around $14, $15. You're getting a Stormtrooper, you're getting IG-11, you're getting a Tusken Raider, all very cool figures. And, you know, the builds, again, are subpar. They're tiny little builds, which are not great. But that's okay, because you're getting a really, really solid figure selection. Even if you would say this is the worst set on Earth, it still comes with 5 solid figures at best, which is really good. And, you know, you usually get 5 figures in, say, a $100 set, but this is 5 figures in a $40 set, and, you know, now 32 on sale. So it's not a bad Advent Calendar. Let's move into the next one. Next up at 17, we have set 75312 Boba Fett Starship, or the Slave One. Now, I am not a huge fan, again, of these types of sets. Again, I know this is probably a controversial pick for how low it is and an unpopular choice. But yeah, again, the Boba Fett's Slave One just retired, like, months before this one was revealed. And, you know, obviously this is a small-scale one, so I'm not a huge fan of that either. And on top of that, I feel like for $50, only 2 figures isn't a lot. You get Mando, which, again, is a very easily accessible figure at this point in time of it being released. And you get a Boba Fett that is not entirely accurate. Obviously, while the torso is a fantastic piece, one of the best pieces of the set, the helmet print is completely inaccurate. It should have been all dark green, but it wasn't. Realistically, they should have not included Mando, and they could have put Fennec in, and they just could have made it a Book of Boba Fett set. They knew that going in, Fennec and Boba were going to be together. So I don't know why they didn't do that. It kind of doesn't make any sense at all to me. They should have included Fennec since she was in the Moff Gideon cruiser. They should have just swapped it out, thrown someone else in the Moff Gideon cruiser, a Stormtrooper or something. I would have much rather had Fennec come in this set, and it could have also been sold as a Book of Boba Fett set. Next up, we have set 75304, the Darth Vader's helmet. Now, this one's alright, but compared to pretty much every other helmet, it feels kind of lackluster, and it's also very overpriced. I believe it's $70, $80, which is a lot for a helmet set. And, you know, overall, it's just not the best looking one. Now, at number 15, we have set 75300, the TIE Fighter. Now, this one isn't too bad, actually, especially when it's on sale for around $30. Now, you do get 3 generic minifigures, which is great for army building, terrible for people who want cool minifigures, and, you know, unique characters. But if you're okay with, you know, army building these, this is a great one for you. It's great to have a lot of, actually. And, again, I'm not a huge fan of these inaccurate, smaller sizes. The bigger sized ones, the TIE Fighters, but, you know, this is alright. I understand, and I've kind of, you know, gotten used to it. And I understand why they're doing it. I think it's nice that kids can cheaply build an army. I'd say relatively cheaply. They get like 3 of these for like $90 now if you get them on sale. And it's just kind of a cute, chibi little set. The next up, surprisingly far ahead, 75298, the Tauntaun vs. AT-AT Microfighters. I know this is a decent little Microfighter versus set. At $20, not bad. You get an exclusive Luke Skywalker Hoth minifigure, which is great. I like that a lot. And then you also do get to bring back the famous 2014 AT-AT Walker Microfighter build. Now that one obviously is coming into 2021. It looks a little different, but is still as cute as ever. I like it a lot. You have, again, get the AT-AT Walker pilot. And this was a pretty relevant year when it came to AT-ATs. But with that said, let's get into the next set. Now at number 13 already, we have 76306, the Imperial Probe Druid. Now I'm not sure if this is a UCS set of some sort, because it does come with that plaque with all the snow on it, but it's not labeled as UCS. But either way, other than that, it is an epic little build. You obviously get a pretty accurate look at the probe droid as a build, which is great. And it's just a great little display model. I think it works on most shelves. While not very recognizable to most people, I still think is a decent little thing, and I like it a lot, and I think it's a pretty fair price too. Now moving up one step ahead at number 12, we have 75305, the Scout Trooper helmet. Now this is certainly the best helmet set of the year by far, and you know, it's not really close because there are only 2 of them. And you know, again, this is not a UCS model, it's just an 18+ model, and it doesn't come with a plaque or anything. But this is a great set. For $50, you get a nice little helmet display set. It's a really good looking thing. You know, there's not much else to say about it other than that. It's just a cool little set of a Scout Trooper helmet. one of the cheaper helmet sets, and just an overall great one. The next up at number 11, we have set 75310, the Duel on Mandalore set. Now, this one is obviously famous for being the duel with Darth Maul versus Ahsoka Tano, and this was a must-need. Like, if LEGO didn't do this, a lot of people would be very upset, but they did, which is great, obviously. So, obviously, first off, you do get the throne of Darth Maul, which is good, on the Mandalorian throne, and I think that was obviously an important thing for LEGO to do. And you did get the build, I'd say, was a little lackluster in terms of play features. Like, there weren't many for, like, the average Versus set. But it was still cool. I do love this little Mandalorian vault piece that came with it that you'd put Maul in. That was not necessary, but they did include it, which is just fantastic. And you also do get, obviously, the old Clone Wars Ahsoka we got from last year. And then we also get the exclusive Clone Wars Darth Maul, which is great, in the first official appearance of Darth Maul in his, Clone Wars appearance in like 10 years, which is just fantastic. Now at number 10, we have set 75315, the Imperial Light Cruiser. Now this one is a very mixed bag to me, but overall, I like it. I love the figure selection. I think that it's great. Fennec Shand is a beautiful and fantastic minifigure. Should have came in the Boba Fett ship. Moff Gideon, obviously, I feel very lackluster with, but I'm still glad we got one. And the Dark Trooper, again, I would have rather seen like a K2SO style mold. But the figure looks cool too. And other than that, the other figures are a good selection. They didn't mess up there. And the build is, I'd say, fun and enjoyable. I had a good time building the set. And it's a great set for kids, by the way. It's a fantastic play set. It's certainly going to be one of the more expensive ones in the future. And I certainly have a problem with some of the cosmetics, like the giant blaster cannons. They're ridiculous looking, in my opinion, in the front. And the fact that we only get one room, like, that hasn't really happened before with these types of capital ships, where you only get a singular room. Usually it's 3. And I feel like they could have squeezed something in somewhere, and they just didn't, which is kind of annoying. But it's still a relatively neat set. Now, next up at number 9, we have set 75319, the Armorer's Mandalorian Forge. Now, this one, there's only one problem, and I'll get that out right out of the gate. The armor and Paz Vizsla helmets, they're extraordinarily inaccurate. Now that I've complained about that, and you hear me rant about that in my full review of that, but this set is freaking fantastic. It is a super fun build, one of the best sets for its value, I think, the whole year. It is just a great value for $30. Like, you look at other $30, and this is just great. It's a great addition of things like the Mandalorian Battle Pack, because this is the real, like, Mandalorian Navarro cave system. And when you have all the other Mandalorians from that Battle Pack in here, and with all the other Paz Vizslas and all them, it's just really, really great. Now, again, the figure torso printings and leg printings are all fantastic. They nailed it. They did okay with Beskar Mando, but, he's, again, appeared in everything. And it's just a cool, all-around build with loads of little details, and I absolutely love it. I think number 9 is a perfect spot for this set. Now, next up, we have a surprising one. At number 8, we have set 75301, the Luke Skywalker's X-Wing Starfighter. Now, for those who have followed my channel for any length of time, you know that I was never a fan of this X-Wing. But with that being said, I have come around on it. A year later, I've come around on it a lot. And yes, I'm still not a fan of these frequent re-releases. I don't like them keeping on re-releasing the same Luke's X-Wing. If they were going to do an X-Wing, at least they could have done someone interesting. Like, if they did something from Visions or something from just some other property, like The Mandalorian, and they threw in, like, one of the characters from The Mandalorian X-Wing, I would have been way more fine with that. But again, these get tiring. But with that being said, this is a fantastic starter set, especially for new LEGO Star Wars fans. I certainly appreciate that at a great price. Now it's on sale for like $40, which is just a beautiful price to get this set at. You're getting a Pilot Luke, which is a great figure. We're getting Princess Leia, which was hard to get before this. She only came in, I think, in the Tantive in this appearance before this, which is, again, an expensive set to get. And then also you do have the General Dodonna minifigure, which is a absolutely stunning figure. It's great that LEGO finally took the time out of their way to make this instead of just throwing in a Chewbacca in there or whatever. And then obviously R2-D2, great little figure there. The build is alright. I'm not a huge fan, again, of the downscale, but hey, it's whatever. Next up at number 7, we have set 75296, the Darth Vader's Meditation Chamber. And this is a neat little display set. It comes with 2 minifigures, and it's just great. I like it a lot. And I think what they could have done with this, they could have gotten rid of that giant bottom block and made it like $10, $20 cheaper. But I think it would have been better at $50. That's just my take. But it still is what it is. It certainly works for what it's trying to capture. Would I have liked to see something, more prequel-based? Sure. But this is a great little set. I think if it was $10 cheaper, it would be in the top 5 without a doubt. But with that said, let's move into number 6. Now this is set 75311, the Imperial Armored Marauder. This is just a fantastic set, and the only reason it's really not higher is because the design does not look incredibly accurate. With that being said, it is a fantastic value. You get 2 Stormtrooper minifigures, you get a great Mortar Trooper, you get a great Grief Karga figure, which is really, really nice looking, and the set itself has a fantastic play feature centered build. It is great for kids, it is great for collectors in terms of the minifigure selection. It is just a beautiful all-around set. There is so many action figures. Every single inch of this set is covered with some sort of feature. And I think that's a great thing for a playset type thing, and I think they really, really nailed that down. And that, again, the only thing holding this back is that the play features held it to its detriment because it was a little under-detailed in my opinion, and it didn't look exactly like the thing that it was supposed to be resembling, but it still looks cool nonetheless. LEGO, I think, nailed it. Now let's move into the top 5. Now at number 5, we have 75306 UCS R2-D2. Now I know a lot of people will think R2 probably should have been higher, and I think that's reasonable, but I personally like all the other ones above better. But first off, you know, if it wasn't a re-release, I think this would easily be a top 2. Like this would be 1 or 2 easily. But it isn't, and it's just a stunning model. It's a really nice one. The head tiles are great compared to the last time where the studs were showing. And I'd say he's arguably the most iconic character from Star Wars period, other than Darth Vader. Which would make this obviously a great little universal display set. Anyone could buy, anyone could build, and put it on a shelf, and it would be just a great thing. Everyone would say, hey, that's R2-D2. And, you know, nobody would have to ask what it is, because everyone, again, knows who R2-D2 is. And yeah, I think that's really the huge, you know, redeeming quality about it. I have him right behind me, actually. How you doing there, R2? Good? Again, just a great little set. Let's move into the number 4. Now, number 4, we have 75314, the Bad Batch Attack Shuttle. Now, this one is far from perfect, and I'll say that right out of the gate. A lot of you will probably think, you know, this one should have been below R2-D2, but here's why I put it up here. LEGO was extremely generous to make 5 exclusive minifigures, plus Gonk Droid, and put it all into one set. So basically the entire cast of the Bad Batch, minus Omega, which I'm sure, you know, they probably didn't know about, is in this set, and I think that's just a fantastic thing. First off, you know, all of these had to be designed separately. They all have their own exclusive designs, face prints, everything along those lines, where a lot of times they'll just throw in a figure we already have. And they didn't do that here. They did not cheap out when it comes to figures other than, you know, like backpacks and that sort of stuff. And I also think they probably should have done their own exclusive mold, but that's a story for another time for the helmets. But yeah, you also get a okay build. Again, I'm not going to say the Bad Batch Shuttle is perfect. I had to do an improving video on it. And, you know, it does come with 2 great little speeders. Again, a great little set. I think it's easily worth a $100 value, and I'm sure it's going to go up to probably be like one of those $300-400 ones on the aftermarket one day. Now, next up at number 3, we have the Mandalorian Starfighter set, and this one is just fantastic. A beautiful, beautiful, great little set. Now, first off, you are getting the long-awaited minifigure of Bo-Katan we've been waiting for over 10 years now. After she's appeared in The Mandalorian and everything, we finally get her in this Clone Wars set from the Clone Wars Season 7. You also get a cool little Mandalorian guy, but the real shock of this set, I think, was Gar Saxon, who is a just really, really cool minifigure. And probably, and I'm almost certain, will one day be one of the rarest LEGO Star Wars minifigures, period. I don't see one, you know, it's going to be one of those types of rare ones, because he just has that kind of vibe. You look at Pre Vizsla, same type of thing. And LEGO didn't have to do Gar Saxon, but they did, which is just honestly great. Thank you, huge props to LEGO. Let's move into number 2. At number 2, we have the UCS Republic gunship. Now, first off, I know this set has problems. I know it has problems. I don't care at this point in time, because the model is absolutely stunning, and I feel like makes up for a ton of it. The build is a beautiful little build. Obviously, it's just great, you know, one of the best, if not the best. I'd say this is the best prequel designed set, period. There's no better looking prequel set out there on the market that has ever been on the market. It is just a great looking set. And a great LEGO Star Wars model. Now, before we get into our number 1 pick, which you guys probably already know, I want to go rank our promo sets. Promo time. So, first off, at number 2 in terms of promo sets is Luke's Tatooine Homestead. This was a okay little promo, nothing too crazy about it, just a fine little detailed set. You know, again, we'd rather see minifigures. It is what it is. Now, next up at number 1 for promo sets is the Luke Skywalker's lightsaber. Now, this one is coming out alongside another set that is coming out very soon, by the way. And this one is absolutely great looking. I like it a lot. I don't think I'll be getting it, but it's really cool. It comes in some great packaging that probably looks like a set that would be worth like $40 probably. I don't know, just looking at it. I don't know what it's actually worth. But yeah, great little Luke's lightsaber set. Let's move in to our number one pick. And ladies and gentlemen, our number one LEGO Star Wars set, you already know what it is. It is the UCS AT-AT. Now, I felt like this was an obvious pick. Obviously, while I won't be picking this one up, unfortunately, this year, it is still a beautiful set and by far the best model to come out this year. And yes, it's $800, which is ridiculous in my opinion. I feel like it probably should have been probably $750, which is about what it is when you use VIP points. But it's still, again, it's very expensive, but it is big and it is gorgeous looking. The interior looks fantastic. They nailed down every detail. 38 individual seats inside there, 4 speeder bikes. That's insane, LEGO. And I think, again, overall, the details and the size of the set is really what brought it to number one, which is why that is my number one LEGO Star Wars 2021 set. Now, guys, I want to hear your top 3 LEGO Star Wars 2021 sets in the comments below. I'll actually leave a list of all of them in the description so you guys can, you know, kind of like pick from one, say this one's cool, this one's cool, this one's cool, or maybe give me your whole list. I don't know. I'd be happy to see it. And tell me what you think I got wrong. I'm curious to hear it. I spent a lot of time trying to figure out which ones would probably be the best, and I spent a lot of time editing this video, so a subscribe will be appreciated. With that said, I will see you guys all in the next one. Remember to check out all these videos. See you later.